All right, everybody, welcome back to the Art Life Conversations podcast. I'm so happy to be here with you. I'm your host, Kelly Folsom. I am a full-time artist. I am a teacher. I'm a coach. I'm a mentor for artists in all things related to art life. So I love doing this podcast with all of you. And I just want to let you all know, if you're just now joining in on this, it's called Art Life Conversations for a reason, and that is because I want to hear from you. So send me an email at info@artlifewithkelly, KELLI.com. Let me know what you thought of this podcast, any topics that you or questions or anything that you would like to ask me or like me to discuss on this podcast. So I would greatly appreciate it. I love hearing from every single one of you. So I treasure all of the emails, all of the comments that you leave me. So thank you so much for participating in this. Because I am not just doing this for my own kicks and giggles, y'all. I'm doing it to help support artists, to be a source of inspiration and motivation for all of us. Okay, so I hope y'all got your big girl panties on today, because I'm going to be laying some smack down. No, I'm just kidding. No, but today's episode is titled Answers Come from Actions. So I've done a lot of teaching. As soon as I graduated from art school, I immediately started teaching, and since 2011. And one thing I have noticed with a lot of the artists that I've worked with over the years, and also just art friends that I've met along the journey as well. But one thing I've noticed is that a lot of times artists, and I think just people in general, I think this is just human, right? Is like we want the answers before we take the actions. And I actually think it works in reverse. So we actually get answers from taking actions. But taking action can be super uncomfortable. It can be scary. And so a lot of people will try to collect all the data first, right? Like they'll try to ask all the questions they can think of first. They'll try to watch as many videos, read as many books, like kind of externally trying to get all of these answers. They'll go around and get advice from everybody. What should I do? For example, if they want to start their art career, it's great to get advice from people and to ask for help. I think that's wonderful. But the problem is then you have to actually do something, right? So what I see happening a lot for a lot of artists is just a lot of consumption, a lot of consuming of information. And I think, gosh, this is almost like an epidemic now with social media and with the online space, is that there's so much information available. I mean, we've got from blogs, podcasts right here, right? You can spend an entire day researching and collecting all this information, whether it has to do with how to paint or how to sell your artwork, how to get your art career started. I mean, you can spend hours upon hours, days, weeks, months, just talking about doing something and just researching and just collecting information. And I'm here to tell you, my friends, that is not the way to go. That is not going to get you the answers that you're looking for in an expedient way. It's also not going to get you the skill sets that you will need to have. It's not going to build those skills. Only action builds skills. Only taking action will get you the feedback that you are looking for, will get you the answers that you're looking for. And sometimes the answers and feedback that we get from those actions suck. They are awful. And it just all it is just feedback though. All it is just showing you like, hey, this didn't work out. Okay, why didn't it work out? Is this not the right fit for me? Is it not the right path? Do I need to try something else? Is there something I need to adjust about how I'm doing it? But you can't get that from reading a book. You can't get it from reading a blog. All of that is just pieces of information. You can't get it from constantly watching other people paint or constantly signing up for classes and workshops. Listen, I love learning. I will be a lifelong learner, well, for the rest of my life. But you have got to balance your learning time with your action time, your research and information gathering time with your research time. And please stop freaking talking all the time about, what you want to do, things that are in your way. Stop talking about it and start doing it. So I've had the great benefit, from very early on of, for some reason, just taking a lot of action, falling on my face, making a fool of myself, doing things before I was ready to do it, learning on the job. Basically, it's like on the job training, right? By taking action. So, for example, if you don't know what kind of art shows might work for you or might be best for you, guess what? You're going to have to start taking action. You're going to have to start entering a bunch of different shows. You're going to have to start trying things out in order to find out what's going to work for you and what isn't. Something can work for one person and they can tell you, oh, you should do this show. This is a really great show. I think your work would really be successful there, and this would really be, great for you. And then you go and you do it and it's like a total flop. Okay, this happened to me so many times. I remember being especially invited to this Western Masters art show. And to this day, I'm still so grateful for the artist and the directors who invited me to participate in this show. It was so generous of them and so thoughtful, and they loved my work and they really believed in me. They liked me. They really wanted it to be the right fit for me. And so I went and I did this show. I think it was 3 or 4 years in a row. And every single time it was just like not great. I pretty much had one collector that would come through and she would buy one of my paintings every single year. But the feedback I was getting from that environment was, my work does not belong here. This is not the right fit for me and my work. Okay, so I tried to make that work for 3 or 4 years until finally I just had to decide, like, this is not worth my time and effort. It's not worth me spending the money to fly out there. As much as I care about all of these artists, and as much as I was as excited as I was about the opportunity, it's obviously not the right fit for me, and there's nothing I can do about that. So that is an example of answers coming from action. And a lot of times the answers that we get back, and this is why it's so hard, but a lot of times the answers that we often get back are, that doesn't work, like that didn't work. That wasn't the right fit, And so that can be a challenge. It can really, really be a challenge. Whenever a lot of the stuff that we try, for example, might not work. The majority of it is not going to be the right fit. So for me, I used to always say, like, hey, I just throw as much pasta at the wall so I can see what sticks. So especially whenever you're trying to get started as an artist, I think it's really important that you try a lot of things, that you try a lot of opportunities, that you try stuff on, just like if you're going to go clothes shopping and you're trying clothes on, and you're experimenting and you're trying to see what works on you and what doesn't, what you like and what you don't like, So I really view it that way. And of course, this is something that gets done over years and years of time. It's not like all the answers are going to come to you immediately. That's another thing too that I do see a lot, is that I find that a lot of artists want those answers immediately, and they want somebody like me or another artist to give them the answers for them, so that they don't have to find the answers for themselves. And it just doesn't work that way, because again, sometimes things that might work for one person isn't going to be the right fit for another person. So you can ask for advice, you can seek counsel, you can read reviews, you can do the research, you can do all the study, but until you actually get in the game, whether that is you get your butt to the easel and you start painting paintings, or you get your butt to the art shows and start trying out art shows to see what fits for you, until you start doing that, you're not going to get the answers that you're looking for. You're not going to get the skills that you're looking for. So I would encourage all of us, myself included, and all of you, to talk less, to research less, to, stop seeking the answers so much and start doing. Follow your gut, try stuff, be brave, be bold. Try things out. Don't be afraid for stuff to not work out. There's a reason why it didn't work out. It wasn't supposed to work out. You're supposed to go do this instead. And I firmly believe that. I really, really believe that. So I call it this how vortex, the how black hole. I will, for example, I have a course called Double Your Painting Sales in 30 Days, organically online without paid advertising. And it's interesting in that course, what I've seen from some of the artists is that they will begin to ask me, general business questions like, oh, do I have to pay taxes? How do I file? Do I need to be an LLC? Shipping questions. Well, if I sell a painting, then how am I going to ship the painting? So it's like what they're trying to do is they're trying to get all their questions answered first before they even try to make the sale, before they even try to sell a painting. Whereas I've always done it the reverse way, and that is I need to sell a painting, so I'm going to sell a painting first, and then I will figure everything else out later. Okay? And, of course, by doing that, because listen, shipping is not complicated. Right? But definitely I've made some mistakes in the last, 14 years of being an artist when it comes to shipping. I've learned lessons. I've got some answers by making mistakes on my shipping. And whenever those mistakes have happened, then I have learned from those mistakes and go, oh, lesson learned. I got an answer there. I got to change that procedure up or that process up, or I've got to change to this different shipper, or this would make this easier, So most of it is finding ways to make it better and make it easier over time. But you have to focus first on what's the most important thing. You can't, connect all the dots, right? Like you just can't do that. You can try. But what I tend to see a lot of times with the artists is like they connect all the dots, they get all the answers from everybody, and then guess what? They still don't do anything. They still don't do it. And the reason why most of the time they're in, again, I'm saying this in so much love, no judgment whatsoever, but this is a truth bomb, right? Like I'm just telling you the truth. I'm standing for you, and I want every single one of you to be so successful and so powerful and so abundant and so thriving. And so I don't want any of you to fall into this trap, the how trap. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do you do this? This how research, trying to get all the answers first, trying to connect all the dots first. right? Because most of the time, whenever people are doing that, it's because they are really just scared to do the thing that they know they need to do. They are scared to show up at the easel and paint yet another disappointing painting. I've painted so many disappointing paintings, you guys. Oh my gosh, so many. It's just the part of the learning process. That's how we're getting answers. We paint a disappointing painting and then we try to understand it and we try to learn from it. And if we can't learn from it that day, then we move on and we paint the next painting. Yes, it sucks. Yes, it's uncomfortable. I completely 100% empathize with you. Okay, but we have to keep taking action. It's the only way that you're going to build those skills. It's the only way that you're going to build confidence in yourself as an artist. You know, if you want confidence, I work with a lot of artists and they will say, you know, I want to feel more confident as an artist. I am telling you right now, this is the solution. Taking action. Whenever you do what you say you're going to do, you build confidence in yourself. Confidence comes from like this place of deep self-trust. You trust yourself, right? Entirely. You know that you can count on yourself, right? Yeah, maybe you have a friend or a loved one or a partner and you know, I don't want to get teared up, but you know that person, you can always count on them. They always have your back, right? And you want to be that person for yourself too. So please stop talking, stop researching, stop the insanity. Do you guys remember that workout lady? What was her name? Susan Powell from like the 80s. Stop the insanity. Anyways, that was an obscure example. Probably many of you won't remember her, but really, really seriously, stop it. Stop doing that. Start taking action. It's the only way to get the answers. And I'm going to leave you with that today because I can give you a lot more examples of how I've gotten answers from taking action, from falling on my face, from making mistakes, from being in disappointing situations. But every single one of those was worth its weight in gold. I value those failures just as much as and disappointments just as much as I value the achievements and the successes, because those are just a link in the chain to the achievements and the successes. It was really just a way of me finding that success, finding that path. So please, please, please take action. Take action, my friends. Okay, artists, I'm wishing you all a happy, happy fall. And as always, happy painting. And I'll see you next time at the podcast. Remember, you can email me at info@artlifewithkelly.com if you have any comments on this podcast or have any topics that you would like me to address in the future. Happy painting, everybody. Bye.